Years, it really made me, in the end of the day, much stronger than anybody else. So, when I was reigning Miss World, I literally had to grow up over the night. You know, there was nothing but or no tomorrow. It was now and here, and it was incredible because my dream from childhood really happened. And this opportunity which I had as meeting world leaders and political representatives and people from culture and all that, for a teenager, that was a big thing. And I was also becoming more and more confident. I wasn't like that in the beginning because I just didn't have possibilities where I could get it. So as I was growing up, I was more and more confident with myself, who I really am. And the thing that also helped me to reach that level was probably also that I am healthy, competitive, you know. I like to work with myself, and it's kind of underneath that I want to be better, I want to get better, I want to meet new people, I'm very social, so it was very natural for me. So to be healthy, competitive, that's a good thing, and also hard worker, because destiny and hard work comes hand to hand together. And I felt like Miss World is about more thing. It's a little bit bigger than just about your looks, you know. If I wanted to be model, I was modeling before I went to the Miss World, so I was a little bit experienced, but I felt like Miss World is another level, you know. I could probably also recognize this right opportunity here. And I always felt like something was guiding me. You know, I believe in destiny, I believe that you can influence a lot of things by who you are and how you're willing to work on that, but there's something beyond us, and I always knew it, even as a child. And my ambition was also to grow and to use my talents, my other talents than my looks or whatever, and to use it for some better cause. You know, when you're being in this world, you are ambassador. So it's really about much more thing than just making a nice picture. And I still like it, of course. You know, I think every woman likes to look beautiful and to use this kind of side of you, but still it's not enough. You know, it's not enough just to look pretty. And I really found myself in this role of being a Miss World. And when you get so lucky and you're really honored, and you work for this institution as Miss World is, you really get the best possible school for your beginning career. And Miss World was just my first part of my life, just the first part of my beginning career. So you can imagine what all that meant to a teenager, and it's really, really crazy to think back then that I was just 18. So after I won Miss World, I really traveled the world, and part of the mission, part of the agenda is to support charitable organizations all over the world. Big ones, internationally known, also local grassroots organizations. And I was very active, you know. For me, this role wasn't about just stand there, smile, you know, hold this and smile. You know, I was really getting involved in that. I would talk with specialists, with doctors, with leaders of those grassroots organizations, and thanks to that, I became extremely socially aware of what's happening and what's going on in the world. And also, as a young person and public person, I really do feel responsibility to bring attention and light to places that might not have it. And that is also my commitment today. Miss World was pretty much just the first part, and I'm very grateful for that experience and opportunity, because with the years, I became a goal-getter. I have established my charity foundation 10 years ago right after my official Miss World reign finished. So right after that, I started my own project. So in this way, I have to say that Miss World agenda or mission never really ended. I was still extremely young. I was just 20 years old. Miss World successful model with a charity foundation. But you can imagine how many prejudices I had to face anyway, right, as a woman. It's not really easy to be a woman, even in my industry. So I felt, and especially here in the Czech Republic, kind of, I have to say that, I have to admit it, I felt I had to prove to everybody that I mean it seriously. It was crazy. For many, I was just a beauty queen. That's it, right? Beauty queen with foundation, but this is exactly where they went wrong. But I had to prove it with the years. And I realized that time already that as long as you live for other people's opinion, you're never going to be more than afraid. So I didn't choose that path. So during those years of hard work where I was concentrating on my professional career, and next to that, I am constantly raising money to support the elderly, I also taught myself how to be more self-confident. I simply had to learn that. I became a person who is not afraid to fight these stereotypes. Now, 10 years later, my foundation is still here. It's successfully working. We help people, and me, myself, I'm stronger than ever. Because I know what I gain. Some things just need time. And I feel very proud of our team, of Michaela, director of my charity foundation. We are a really amazing team of young people who are making a difference for many lonely elderly. And philanthropy also, that's something it's not, I don't feel it's a part of your image, it's something what is coming out of you, it's part of your heart, it's a commitment with the God. And it has to be real, and I think people will recognize that. And with working for the elderly, I was also happy that I explored much bigger and different content than just modeling. And I had also very personal reasons as well. As I told you, I was raised by my grandparents. I have a very strong relationship with them. And I kind of wanted to give back what they gave me. You know, I think you cannot replace this experience. So what I do and support for the past 10 years really reminds me of my roots, my background, where I come from, and I don't forget where I come from. However, I didn't know how important and current topic it would be. And I feel like more conversations and more examples happens, like you're active yourself, you run your own non-profit, or you're proving what you're saying by doing that. That can inspire others more and more, and that can lead to change the world. We have to address this to the world, you know, because aging is not a problem just in Czech Republic or Europe. It's a global thing. Whole planet is aging. Population aging is a huge challenge. However, we don't see much effort from our political representatives. They are not doing much to change that. And it is a very long-term issue also. It's not really popular. That is also why it is essential that we have NGOs which focus on helping the elderly. According to the data, a third of the Czech Republic population in 2050 will be older 65 years old. Aging population will have a huge influence on the whole society, spending of free time, family life, work, politics, communication, etc. One of the results is also increasing gap between generations. And there are also other factors as well. Technology development and related to that faster information speed, digitalization. So during these 10 years, we have supported dozens of grassroots organizations across the Czech Republic with total amount of 1.2 million euro. We mostly support home care services and also volunteer programs. We are supporting social workers and nurses because they are doing excellent work. Excellent. We cannot thank them more. And this is exactly where I can say ordinary people are doing unordinary things. They're angels and they are really just fascinating what they do for the clients. We have also started our own project, Home Without Worry. Within this project we have helped thousands of older people so they can live at home with dignity. Without our support, they would have probably ended up in institutional care. We have also a volunteer program. We connect young volunteers with an older people who live alone. They simply don't have anyone who would care for them. You know, the family doesn't work or they didn't have kids, etc. So this project also keeps them active and it motivates them to be socially active and also physically active. They visit each other for a couple hours a week, and it's just my favorite project because it's not about financing that much, even we need raising money for that, but it's about time you can give to each other, which is the precious thing you can really give to other person, especially today. And we see also this intergenerational dialogue as a very important thing. We also ran several awareness-raising campaigns and significantly helped to change the perception of aging older people in the Czech Republic. Next to general campaigns, we also promote healthy nutrition for the elderly and against to loneliness of elderly or against work discrimination. We supported documentaries, festivals or theater plays which help us to promote the concept of positive aging. We've organized many roundtables and conferences, and we have greatly supported the exchange of experience among the stakeholders in this field. As I said, 10 years ago, I had a dream. And because we did a good job, I guess, guess what? One day we got an invitation to speak up at the United Nations in New York. So in 2015, I participated for the first time in the 53rd session of the Commission of Social Development. I presented their activities of Beauty of Health Foundation and also spoke about positive aging. Later, the same year, I attended a meeting of the Working Group of UN Economic Commission of Europe to Aging. I represented their Czech non-profit sector and I shared our experience with home care services for the elderly. Later on, in summer 2017, the Czech Republic took a part in a national volunteer review of implementation of Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The government of the Czech Republic asked me and my foundation to participate and to represent non-profit sector during the presentation on a high-level political forum of sustainable development at the UN in New York. And my presentation was pretty direct and the message was pretty clear. I talked about the importance of cooperation across the sectors. Why? Because the Sustainable Development Goals are a collection of 17 global goals set by United Nations. Long story short, it's a plan on the UN to make this world better. It's a very complex plan. The broad goals are interrelated through each has its own targets to achieve, and the SDGs cover a broad range of social and economic development issues. These include poverty, hunger, health, education, climate change, gender equality, water, sanitation, urbanization, environment, and social justice. And because of my foundation, we cover 3 from these 17 goals. It is a good health and well-being for people, gender equality, and reduced inequalities. You know, we used to put people into the boxes, but we cannot generalize like that anymore. We are going through problems as a world now. So I see huge importance to participate on SDGs in the future. And we cannot discriminate people because of their gender. We cannot discriminate them because of their age or background anymore. We have to give equal opportunities to everybody, to women, to elderly, because this is essential principle of democratic countries, to give equal opportunities to everybody and not to leave anyone behind. So since last year, I became SDGs ambassador. I try to promote the concept here in the Czech Republic and also internationally, and to explain to people how important it is and how important it is to have this global plan for a better world. And my mission didn't end up. I still represent non-profit sector at the UN, especially this year was kind of busy for me. At the end of the January, I was a keynote speaker at the ECOSOC Youth Forum 2018, which is probably the biggest event at the UN for young delegates and influential people all over the world. The topic was the role of youth in building sustainable and resilient urban and rural communities. And I had kind of a motivational speech I was trying to. I also talked about my personal commitments towards this world. And I got amazing feedbacks, you know. When I'm in the UN, I'm always like so happy because I feel like my work is good and important, and the same feeling I have when I meet over clients. So it's important feedback for me. And I talked also about volunteering, because that's extremely important, and importance of supporting grassroots organizations. My last presence in the UN this year was also very interesting because I had 2 conferences in one day. It was hot like today. So in the morning I took part in a conference called Age of Aging, which was organized during Commission for Social Development, and it was organized together with UNFPA, which is Population Fund of UN. And the second one was Commission on the Status of Women, CSW, which is also extremely important event at the UN. You know, you could see like it was packed. So there were representatives of member states, UN entities, and NGOs from all regions of the world, and everybody attended this session. I was part of the Czech delegation, and I spoke at Czech side event about participation of women and importance of equal opportunities for women. And because the issue of supporting women and the elderly is deeply connected, I will explain most of our clients are women, and not just because they live longer, but also because their pension is much lower than men. And therefore, they have more often financial problems. So we try to draw attention to the gender pay gap and fight for equal opportunities for women as prevention for financial problems when they retire. So this is my story about how I became youth advocate for the elderly and women, and how I became SDGs ambassador. And I'm really excited that I have a chance to talk about it, and I have a chance to influence this agenda. But I know that together we are much stronger. We owe so much to this planet. We owe so much to previous generations, and we have to keep it for future generations, right? And elderly, especially women, like my grandmas, are our family story keepers. That's it, right? So at the same time, we have to keep this planet for the future ones. So we have to keep fighting the good fight. So if you want to join me